Welcome! In this lesson, we will be learning about the different methods of inputting corrections to the aircraft's current coordinates in order to eliminate coordinate calculation errors made by the aircraft's inertial navigation unit. If you're unable to hear the instructor's voice, press Escape and go to the Options Audio through the menu. Reduce the cockpit noise volume in cockpit by half by moving the corresponding slider towards the left. Press the spacebar to continue. The inertial navigation unit, INU, has a tendency to gradually accumulate errors due to imprecise sensors and due to the limitations of calculation methods. A cumulative error in coordinate calculations can be up to 4 km after 1 hour of flight. Errors in coordinate calculations will affect flight path and determination of target locations. To compensate for these errors, they need to be corrected using one of two methods. Press the spacebar to continue. When planning a flight path in the mission editor, INU reference points need to be set up. It is recommended to use locations that stand out in the terrain: buildings, towers, bridges, road crossing, and river match points that are easily located along the route. Coordinate correction is usually required before entering a combat area. Press the spacebar to continue. Once you are within 18 kilometers of a reference point, the ecran will display Perform Nav Pulse Fix. To perform the correction can be done either by flying over the reference point or by acquiring the fix point via the Squall targeting system. Press the spacebar to continue. To perform coordinate corrections by flyover, you must visually acquire the coordinate reference point. Afterwards, maneuver your craft precisely towards the reference point, and once you are directly over it, perform the coordinate replacement procedure to sync your coordinates with that of the reference point. Press the spacebar to continue. Coordinate correction via the Squall targeting system may be performed if you have a direct line of sight to any of the preset reference points. This method allows the pilot to perform coordinate correction at a distance from the reference point, allowing them to avoid strain from their flight path. We will be learning how to carry out this procedure via a practical lesson. Open the digital map screen on your Abris by pressing the 5th button on the system control panel, or by pressing 5 on your keyboard. Press spacebar when done. The first coordinate correction reference point will be represented on your digital map by a blue mark labeled IFX01. It will be located a little to the left of our current flight path, just along the edge of a small settlement. Alright, let's take off.
Watch ecran.
After takeoff, stick to the course line at an altitude of 250–300 meters. Now that we are less than 18 kilometers away from our correction reference point, you'll see the message "Perform nav poles fix" on your ecran panel. Prepare to carry out this procedure. Select the relevant correction mode via the targeting system. On your navigation control panel, PVI 800, set the switch labeled I251V over to the I251V position. Also, press the button labeled Fix Point on the PVI 800. You'll see the button light up. Press the number 1 button on the numpad to select the first of the programmed correction reference points. This number will be displayed on the small right window. Visually acquire your reference point. You'll find a conspicuous boiler house just on the outskirts of a small village. Look for the smoke signal. Once you've confirmed that you have a direct line of sight to the reference point, activate the laser rangefinder. To the left of the mode selection panel, set the switch labeled LAS off to the LAS position. Press the Designate Target button, O, on the control stick to engage the squall. Use the head switch on your joystick or the keyboard buttons semicolon, comma, dot, slash to center the squall's line of sight on the reference point structure. Use the markers displayed on your HUD or address. Use the television indicator to identify the reference point and make corrections to the squall's line of sight. If necessary, adjust the width of the field of view of the targeting system by pressing equals or dash. Use the keys opening square bracket and closing square bracket to place the image of the reference point within the frame, and press Enter to lock. When the message TA appears, press the Designate Target button, O, again, to perform the coordinate correction procedure. Pressing the Designate Target button will acquire the values for the slant range and the sighting angles of the reference point. The corrected coordinates of the helicopter are calculated based on the value of these parameters and the known coordinates of the reference point. During the calculation, the HUD will display the correction message. Once this message appears on your HUD, press the Reset button, backspace, to switch off the coordinate correction mode. A little further along our coastline is the second reference point, represented on your address map by a blue mark, labeled IFX02. We'll use this reference point to walk you through the flyover. Repeat the coordinate correction process on your PVI 800s. Set the I251V over switch to over this time. Press the indicator button labeled Fix Point. Press the number 2 button on the numpad to select the second programmed correction reference point. The flyover correction mode is now active. Visually acquire your reference point. This time it's a checkpoint located where the course line intersects with the highway. You will need to perform a precision flyby over this checkpoint, and once directly over it, press the Designate Target button, O, on the control stick. This will sync the aircraft's coordinates with the coordinates of the reference point. Following this, the Fix Point button backlight will switch off, and the selected reference point number will no longer be displayed on the indicator panel. You have now completed the coordinate correction training mission. Congratulations!